50 to 40 minutes of weight training and to focus on as much of volume as possible. This kind of like zone 2 of training, zone 2 cardio training. And for you who don't know, estimate maximum heart rate will be 220 minus. So Natasha, her schedule of training is gonna be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, which is pretty odd because it doesn't really allow you to do full body every day since you don't have any gap in between the first and the second workout. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a combination between upper, lower, and full body workout. So by doing so, she can train everything at least twice a week with one day where she fully focus on upper body and one other day where she fully focus on lower body. The full body workout will be the one that we kind of like fill the gap, whatever we haven't done in the week. We're gonna put it in there. So let's start it with Monday, where we're gonna go with the upper body. And Natasha stated that she wants to have a little stronger back. So that probably what we want to focus on the Monday for upper body. And her level of fitness is pretty high. So I think either lat pull down or assisted pull up would be a good way to start with that. Yes. And then after we do one exercise for the bike, it's kind of a little better if she can go straight to some exercise for her chest, because remember here she wants the workout to be shorter than 60 minutes, right? So we don't really want to rest for too long, do the same exercise, or maybe same muscle, train the same muscle to um, all of them in a row, because it's going to be very fatigued and it's going to be harder to push hard. So let's see. I would say like I'm gonna give her some kind of number bench press. Look good. Maybe give her some kind of alternative bench press. So what does it do is it's gonna allow she to train not just only her chest but also the ability to control the body in the sagittal plane, which is pretty important, and we can kind of like train that a little bit. Also, is from the perspective of post from the perspective of pushers, then that kind of allow the body to flow a little bit better. Um, let's see. So now back to one back exercise. It's gonna be good if she already at the dumbbell, so I can get her to do dumbbell row, lat, bench. That's good. And then one chest exercise. This time we may want to have her to do some kind of shoulder press. So I would say like maybe get shoulder press just for her to train a little bit of the shoulder stability, which is very important. And then by the end of that, we can have her to do some, I would say cable kneeling, cable or yeah, cable kneeling row, specific high to low, high row. All right, so one of the reasons why I don't actually plan any isolated exercise for her arm in here, especially for like bicep and triceps, is because that she doesn't really have a lot of time to spend in the gym. By the way, she wants to do 10 to 20 minutes of cardio every session. So because she already wants to do 10 to 20 minutes of cardio every session, right? So that leaves us with like 50 to 40 minutes of weight training and to focus on as much of volume as possible. Since she wants to stretch some fat and some weight, then we want to do all of the compound movement as much as possible because they are really good. They train multiple muscle at the same time, and then they are easier to get through it, right? It feel more natural. So that's why I don't plan any isolate movement in here. Okay, so that's gonna be the first workout, interrupt. Um, the second workout will be the lower body, and because it's difficult for her to access to squat rack and barbell bench press, due to the gym is very crowded. So the first one I think it will be goblet squat. Goblet squat is really good. First thing first is when you have the weight in front of you, then it will allow you to go a little deeper with more vertical spine. What I mean is it will put less shear force on the lower back, which will be helpful for someone who kind of have a little bit of back pain, especially lower back pain when they are bending forward. So yeah, so goblet squat is something that I'm gonna go with, not because she has pain, but just because it's kind of like very friendly movement for everyone. And I could actually add with stagger stand. So what it does is, first thing first, stagger stand will train one side a little heavier than the other side. Second, actually it also promote a little bit bigger range of motion, and eventually it give you more repetition. So the volume will be higher. So that's gonna be the first one, goblet squat with stagger stand. The second one, we want to train a little bit for the back side of the body. Remember, the goblet squat will train more for your quad than your glute. It will focus more on the quad, which is the front side of the thigh. So now we want to train something for the glute and the hamstring with the back side of the thigh. So what we can do here will be split squat with single dumbbell. Okay, so split squat with single dumbbell will be very useful when you want to manipulate whether you want to train more for your quad or train more for your glute. So split squat with single dumbbell. When you hold the dumbbell on the same side with the working leg, then you will train for more for your quad. And when you hold the dumbbell on the opposite side of the working leg, then you train for the more for the glute. So in this case, I will have her to hold. I'm gonna just rephrase it a little bit. Single dumbbells, split squat with dumbbell on the opposite side of working leg. We're gonna get back to somewhat of quad dominant movement, which in here what I'm thinking will be something that help her to have a little of cardio in it, which is gonna be sled pushing. Okay, so sled pushing is really good single leg movement, because it's gonna be many repetition with a smaller range of motion. So it is not cardio for sure. It's not cardio, but it's a little bit different type of training there compared to like standard training where you lift the weight with like 10 to 12 repetitions. Sled pushing also gonna be able to manipulate how much force you put on your lower back as well by changing whether you are keeping your arm straight or keeping your arm bent by staying closer to the sled. So sled pushing is really good exercise, especially if you can add a little with like pulling or maybe more like a walking backward as well. They're gonna be like really good exercise for the quad. So in this case, I still actually thinking that leg curl, as much as I say that single leg, sorry, isolate movement is not something we want to focus on, but hamstring curl is actually very friendly exercise, and then you can pretty much find it anywhere. And second, is a big muscle to hamstring is a big muscle. It has two heads to protect the knee. So if you have a strong hamstring, there's a chance that your knee will be much stronger. So I'm gonna plan lying leg curl into that. And actually, to be more specific, I want her to do lying single leg curl just to prevent any kind of imbalance that can happen when you do too much of bilateral movement. And then eventually what we want to do is some core exercise, which is basically dead bug. So dead bug is really good exercise if you are trying to warm up for the squat movement. For you who don't know, let me pull it up. So basically you're gonna keep the pressure with one arm and the opposite leg, and then move the other arm away while you're keeping the ball in there. So it's gonna make it easier for you to process the movement, because a lot of people they kind of like don't really understand what they're trying to do, just because it's a weird movement. So for the Friday we want to do some full body exercise, and in here is actually gonna be either something that we can do to assist the other workout to make it stronger, to make it easier, or we want to do something that she hasn't done in the week. So first thing first, from right here I can see that we can do something like conventional deadlift or Romanian deadlift. Okay, she doesn't have the access to the squat rack, but actually the Romanian doesn't really allow you, doesn't really require you to have squat rack to do it. Basically you just need a bar, so it should be okay for her to do so. And if it's too difficult to find the bar, she can actually do it with bar or with dumbbell. It's all work the same, almost the same. And then she wants to get stronger on the back, remember that? So I'm either gonna put assisted pull up here or lat pull down. So now it's up to her. Whatever she's did on the first day, which is Monday, she's gonna do the other one on the Friday. So it's basically gonna allow her to train both of them in a week, in the week period, right? And that's kind of like just give her some kind of flexibility. Okay, so that the second one, pull up, pull down. Let's say like some incline dumbbell bench press right here, and then I think that's pretty much about it for the press movement. And now we want to have some of the exercise for the single leg, so it's gonna be like walking lunges. And for this one, I still want her to load on one side just for her to push a little bit harder on her quad. So in this time I'm gonna get her to do walking lunges with dumbbell, with one dumbbell. So basically with one dumbbell, she's gonna have to alternate between quad and glute, because you can only hold on one side when you walk forward, right? So that kind of like a good exercise, holistic exercise to train for both, focus on both quad and glute, which is the front side and the back side of the thigh. Okay, so that will be about it. What I want her to do is standing calf raise, more like a seated calf raise. All right, this is something more. Okay, so that will be something that we want to see right here. And now she wants to have 10 to 20 minutes of cardio every session, right? What I want to do is, first thing first, I want to calculate how long does it take to get through this. So what I want her to do is, because she doesn't have a lot of time, so I want her to do 3 sets of 10 for pretty much everything. Oh my god. There you go, right? And I want her to have 90-second rest. Get video, 20 minutes. Okay. So we want her to have about 60 to 70% of estimates heart rate. This kind of like zone 2 of training, zone 2 cardio training. And for you who don't know, estimate maximum heart rate will be 220 minus your age. So for example, if you are 30 years old, then it's gonna be 190, 220. 220 minus 30 is gonna be 190. All right, and then it's gonna be 60% of that, so it's gonna be 60%. There you go, 114, 60 to 80%. So yes, so 114 to 125, something like that. That when you want it to be, to maintain it for 20 minutes. So that's going to be zone 2 training. What does it do is really helpful for you to train for the heart health. Does it really help with weight weight loss? Maybe not. Help a little bit, but weight training is always going to be one of the best way to do so. The reason I put it cardio right here because I don't really know what she does for her cardio at the moment. So I want to see what works the best for her, and then after that, basically, we just want to do it consistently. That's about it. Now we have goblet squat with stagger stand. So that means like it's gonna be 20 repetitions since you're gonna have to switch stands in one set. So 20 repetitions is gonna be 480. Single dumbbell split squat. So it's gonna be 20 repetition per set. So it's gonna be also 480 as well. Sled pushing and walking backwards. So now it's not gonna be 10 anymore. It's gonna be usually I'm gonna get people to do 2 turf length. Lying single legger is gonna be 20 repetition. I want her to do slowly, so it's also gonna be 180. Yep. And then dead bug is gonna be 10 repetition X, 45-second rest. Usually it's gonna be actually 20 repetition on each side. Give or take about like 2 minutes to move. So it's gonna be around that time. And then we sum it up together, it's going to be 40 minutes. So 40 minutes is really good time when we can add another cardio 20 minutes in here. But because we already did that on the Monday, so we want to do something a little different. So what I'm going to give her to do is, it's going to be 1 second. Okay, so it's going to be cardio interval. So we have 20 minutes, right? So I want her to do around 10 interval. Each interval going to be 20 second on with 40 second off. Okay. 20 second, 20, 40. Okay. And then want her to have maximal effort. Okay. So that's what we want to do. So this interval training is really good to train to improve your maximal heart rate, improve the maximum capacity of your cardiovascular. If she does biking, spinning, then she should still keep doing biking and spinning on the interval training, but because at the end of the day it's kind of a specific adaptation. If you do biking, you can't really expect yourself to get better at running, right? Well, you will, but not directly. Romanian with bar or with dumbbell, so this is gonna be 3 sets of 10 with 90-second rest. Alright, so first thing first, this one gonna take you about 420. We did the math before. Alright, so in total, what do we have here? It's gonna be 36 minutes. So 36 minutes right here is gonna allow me to get her another session of cardio 20 minutes right there, right? So cardio. Okay, so that's what we have right here. So now all we need to do is basically copy it over there. So yes, so that's basically give us a plan to train for Natasha, where she can do Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. One day upper, one day lower, one day full body, with more focus on the back, with more focus on increasing the volume, so she can stretch some weight and also still improve her strength, with no requirement for the squat rack and barbell, shorter than 60 minutes, and 10 to 20 minutes of cardio every session, right? Well, of course, this is a plan, so for sure, eventually, we're gonna have to make adjustment along the way she goes. But that will be the story for a different day. Okay, so that's how you create a plan for yourself to do the exercise. I hope it helped. See you next time.